so the picture look more amazing. The camera's much, fancier than the one I've been using lately. But, yeah. Anyway, I got a request to do a video about some of my favorite books because I seem well read, which is a flattering compliment. I don't think I'm super well read. I read probably more than a lot of people, but that's not really saying much anymore because I think I read somewhere that like the average American adult reads less than one book a day, or not a day. That's definitely true, but one book a year. And I try to read more than that. This year I'm trying to read 50 books, and so far I've only read 17. So got some catching up to do. But I got a stack of books here. I'm just gonna leaf through them. So we're gonna start with a trio of books, a trilogy. I should point out that I mostly read nonfiction, like self-development books. So there's that. So these are the first trio. Steal Like an Artist, Show Your Work, Keep Going. They're all by a lovely man named Austin Kleon. And if you do creative things, I think these books are worth their weight in gold. There's just so much good in them. Steal Like an Artist talks about how to find influences and kind of just acknowledging that nothing you do is original, and that's okay. Like, everything has to come from somewhere. And so the sooner you A, acknowledge that fact, and B, start kind of back tracing what it is that inspires you and to learn how to steal things you like to create your work, that's what makes it original. When you start combining all these elements and you make this remix, you make your own thing. That's what originality is. I've got so many bookmarks in there. I just try to find something in here that I like. This is a good passage. Keep a swipe file. It's just what it sounds like. A file to keep track of the stuff you swiped from others. It can be digital or analog. It doesn't matter what form it takes as long as it works. You can keep a scrapbook and cut and paste things into it, or you can just take pictures of things with your phone. See something worth stealing, put it in the swipe file. Need a little inspiration, open up the swipe file. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, it's a good thing. And what I like about these books, they're very short reads, and they have a lot of his art. He does a lot of like erasures and word art, stuff like this. Let's see if we can find something else in here that's good. Let's see here. This is one of my absolute favorites. Is quick big fights and go make something. So you're going to see a lot of stupid stuff out there, and you're going to feel like you need to correct it. One time I was up late on my laptop, and my wife yelled at me, "Quit picking fights on Twitter and go make something." Like, yeah, that's It continues, she was right, but the anger is one of my favorite creative resources. Henry Rollins has said he is both angry and curious, and that's what keeps him moving. I love Henry Rollins, by the way. If you don't know Henry Rollins, he was the lead singer of Black Flag, and now he's like an author, speaker, great guy. If you can find, his books are really good, his podcast is really good. He did a stand-up special that it doesn't quite hold up. The comedy's very like 90s, and there's some problematic things in it. We won't fault him for that. We like Henry Rollins. Yeah. So that's Steal Like an Artist. One of my favorite books. I read it every single year, and I get new things from it every year. It's great. Highly recommend it. Show Your Work. Another book by Austin Kleon. This is what I'm working on right now. Reading it again for the, probably 5th or 6th time. Again, it's just something I read every year. message. But this, again, exemplifies the book. In order to be found, you have to be findable. I think there's an easy way of putting your work out there and making it discoverable while you're focused on getting really good at what you do. So this book, it talks more about, less about trying to sell yourself and more about kind of just documenting your process and, sharing the way you think is interesting and how you're working on things. And through that, people find you and start following you and connect with you. And then this one, Keep Going, is his latest book. It came out last year, I think. It would have come out last year because I read it last year. So, but I haven't read it again a second time yet. But it's just more of the same goodness. I don't have any bookmarks in this one yet because I've been going back through all my books and bookmarking them. Because I'm starting a new YouTube channel that's for creative people to it's more of a self-help for creatives. So I'm gonna do some book reviews on that channel. Once I get that up and going, I'll share that with you guys. But this book is more about how to keep going. Obviously, it's called Keep Going. How to keep going, when you're in bad times and when you're burning out. And it, lists some strategies and stuff for that. And it's a very good read. All of Austin's books are great. He's got a really great blog, and he does his Instagram's good. And every Friday he has a mailing list, and that's also good. So just highly recommend. He's one of my favorite authors. Speaking of one of my favorite authors, we got this Discipline Equals Freedom Field Manual by Jocko Willink, and where is it at? Okay, man. Extreme Ownership, also by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. These two books, great books, written by a Navy SEAL commander guy. And they're very tough love. So if you don't get down with the tough love, they might not be for you. But Extreme Ownership kind of talks about how everything that kind of happens in life is it's on to you. It's up to you. You control your life. And it gives a lot of actual, that statement, you're like, okay, yeah, but it gives some actual tactical level, here's what you can do, and here's how to apply that in combat, which is oh, I don't need that, but then it immediately draws a business parallel, if you're in an office situation, how can you use this strategy? Here's how we've used it in our consulting. So it's great for that. Sorry, I'm really tired and really thirsty. I drove 3 hours with a friend today to go pick up a topper for his truck. So I woke up super early, drove, and then put this heavy topper on, and then drove back. Ooh, it was a long day. A lot of dehydration because we had a lot of salty snacks, like you do on a road trip. And then Discipline Equals Freedom Field Manual is it's much shorter, and I could show you some of the pages. It's very quick and to the point. Let me see if I can find a good path. I need to bookmark this one. He actually, Jocko has read a lot of this book, and it's on Spotify. You can listen to it for free, because a lot of these are, they're kind of short, and they're kind of meant to just give you a little quick hit of motivation to get you going. Let's see. Actually, this is a good one. He reads it way better than I ever could, so go listen to his version of it. But it's called Good, and it's kind of like poetry to a degree. So here we go. How do I deal with setbacks, failures, delays, defeats, or other disasters? I actually have a fairly simple way of dealing with these situations, summed up in one word: good. This is something that one of my direct subordinates, one of the guys who worked for me, a guy who became one of my best friends, pointed out. He would pull me aside with some major problem or some issue that was going on, and he'd say, "Boss, we got this thing, this situation, it's going terribly wrong." I would look at him and I'd say, "Good." And finally, one day, he was telling me about something that was going off the rails. And as soon as he finished explaining it to me, he said, "I already know what you're going to say." And I asked, "What am I going to say?" And he said, "You're going to say good." And he continued, "That's what you always say. When something is wrong or bad, you just look at me and say good." And I said, "Well, I mean it, because that is how I operate." So I explained to him that when things are going bad, there's going to be some good that will come from it. Oh, mission got canceled? Good. We can focus on another one. Didn't get the new high-speed gear we wanted? Good. We can keep it simple. Didn't get promoted? Good. More time to get better. Didn't get funded? Good. We own more of the company. Didn't get the job you wanted? Good. Go out, gain more experience, and build a better resume. Got injured? Good. Needed a break from training anyway. Got tapped out? Good. It's better to tap out in training than to tap out on the street. Got beat? Good. We learned. Unexpected problems? Good. We have the opportunity to figure out a solution. That's it. When things are going bad, don't get all bummed out. Don't get startled. Don't get frustrated. No. Just look at the issue and say good. Now, I don't mean to say something trite. I'm not trying to sound like Mr. Smiley Positive Guy. That guy ignores the hard truth. That guy thinks a positive attitude will solve problems. It won't. But neither will dwelling on the problem. No. Accept reality, but focus on the solution. Take that issue, take that setback, take that problem, and turn it into something good. Go forward. And if you're part of a team, that attitude will spread throughout. Finally, if you could say the word good, then guess what? It means you're still alive. It means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, that means you've still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, reload, recalibrate, re-engage, and go out on the attack. Jocko Willink. Such a good warrior poet. He's a very, very tough man who is very well spoken. There's very few people who like encapsulate that sort of machismo with like actual good writing and good storytelling and like very articulate. And he's one of them. He has like an English degree, which is such a weird. He's great. I love him. So keeping on that trend, here's another one by an author I like a lot. His name is Ryan Holiday. Ego is the Enemy. He's got a trio of books about stoicism. Well, he's got more than a trio, but so Ego is the Enemy, The Obstacle is the Way, and Stillness is the Key are the three he wrote on stoicism. And then he has like a daily stoicism. It's not really a journal. It's kind of just like a daily meditation. And it's 365 meditations. And that's a good one as well. But this, if you're gonna start anywhere, this would be the one I would start with. I got a lot out of this book, and like I haven't gone through and bookmarked it, but there's so much good in it. And it kind of takes Marcus Aurelius' meditations and some other Stoic philosophies and makes them a lot easier to digest. Because I tried to read Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, and it's not meant for modern day readers. It's very hard to read, so I wouldn't really recommend that one. You can if you want. You might be smarter than me, and that might work for you, but it's not written with like old style language because it's been translated, but it's just like clunky and like it's kind of just like this guy from 1800 years ago, I think, is about the time period. It's kind of like his just like free-forming thoughts. Like there obviously wasn't an editor involved, so it's kind of messy and just spaghetti threaded and run-on sentences galore, you know. So it's clunky. It needs someone to clean it up and give it like a really good modern day interpretation. maybe don't. I don't know. So keeping on the well, okay. So I got how many more books do I got? I got a couple more books. I also have a lot of audio books. I started listening to books on Audible, and now I have like 80 Audible books. I haven't read them all, but it feels weird to not be able to hold something up. So we won't really talk about those. But this next one is an autobiography. This is called Tough S Word. I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube. By Kevin Smith, who's one of my favorite directors. He directed Clerks, Clerks 2, Chasing Amy, Mallrats. Red State is a recent one. The Jay and Silent Bob movies are him. He's Silent Bob. Dogma is another one. But this is just like telling of his life, and it's amazing. He's a very motivational guy, and he's got just like a great kind of thought process, and he's super well spoken. You can go find, he does on his birthday, he'll do like these Q&As, and they're just amazing. He just tells these amazing stories that I don't know how much he prepares. They seem like they're kind of off the cuff, and I just listen to this guy talk for hours. And the audio version of this book is actually really good, so I would also recommend this one. Very good book, very good author, very good director, very good podcast guy, great guy. So keeping on that track, another one that I read this one this year for the first time, Atomic Habits by James Clear. This book, Tiny Changes, Remarkable Results. That is 1,000% true. This book, if you only read one of these books, this is the one. Read this one, because it has these like tactical, strategic things that like you can implement that aren't very hard to implement, and like really do change your life. The basic principle of the book is like goals are not very useful, which I know I just made like the self-help ASMR, and I'm gonna make more of those, and I love goals, so shut up, James Clear. I love my goals. But he has a point in that you need to build habits to really find success, and you need to build systems to achieve your goals, because goals are just they're just an end point, and the system is how you get to it. And so by building habits, you start to implement, you start to build these systems, and that's how you get where you want to go. Some of the things in here that, without going back through it and pulling ideas just kind of off the cuff, he talks about how important it is to design your environment, which that's why I built this desk. Well, I didn't build the desk, but I put this desk here, and now there's a light here and a tripod and this microphone, and it's just always set up. So all I have to do is pull my big camera out of the case, or get my little camera out, and pull up an audio recorder and plug the microphone into, and then, well, there we go. Now I'm making videos. And then, because this is my living room, there's my TV right there, there's my computer, over here's my couch, and I don't know if you can see my dog. Can you see him? We're gonna pan over. He's sleeping. Be really quiet. small things and you just start adding them. And as they become regular habits, where you don't, they're just automatic, you can just keep adding those little chains and they get longer and bigger and your life changes for the better. And it's true, it works, it helps. I highly recommend. I sign off on James Clear. He's also got a really good Twitter feed if you're on Twitter and you want to be, it's hard. The thing with Twitter, I like Twitter, but it's just, you can't get away from the toxicness of it. Like, I've got all the muted words set up and blocked so many accounts. Like, I don't want to hear about a lot of this stuff. Like, I know things are bad. There's nothing I can do. It just stresses me out. But I like going on Twitter for the good, and so I want more of those accounts. James Clear is one of those accounts that just delivers value and doesn't commentate on what you already know is not a good situation. And that, that's just with everything, social media right now is just so hard to, like, not get sucked into the doom and gloom. So, anything that gives a reprieve from that, I'm just clinging on to, like, life rafts right now. I don't know how you guys are feeling, but, like, I'm exhausted by how awful the world is right now. But we're gonna forget about that. This is about books and getting lost in books that are great. And this is a great one. This is the best one of all of them. Highly recommend it. So I got 3 more for you. This book is thick. Look at that. Compared to, it's 400 or 500 pages. Tools of Titans by Tim Ferriss. If you're not familiar, Tim Ferriss is kind of like life hacker, bro science guy. And what this is, he has a podcast where he interviews a lot of very successful, very smart people. And this is a distilled version of all of those podcasts. So you take, hundreds of hours of podcasts and you turn it into a 500-page book with just the golden nuggets, which I love because I don't have time or energy or attention to listen to 2 hours of a podcast. Like, just give me the good bits, give me the golden nuggets. And, for the other people that have the time or the energy or, like, can listen for 2 hours of something without getting bored of it, they can keep listening, but just give me the 20-minute, 30-minute version. And this is even less than that. Like, most of these chapters are like 2 pages long. And it's great, like bedtime reading, or, it's really good for, like, Kindle. If you have, like, a lot of, like, weird gap times, in your day, like downtime at work or something, you can read real quick, because you blast the chapters in, like, a minute, so you don't have to, like, lose your place. It's really, you just bust one out real quick and then put it away. Yeah, nobody's any of the wiser. And then the last 2 books I have are 2 fiction books. I don't have many fiction books in hard copy, but these are 2 of my favorites: Slaughterhouse-Five and Fight Club. Fight Club, the movie's good, the book is better. It's just, it feels like I've been reading this book and watching that movie for 20, maybe not 20 years, because the movie came out in 1999, so I probably read the book for the first time in 2004, and I probably watched the movie around when it came out. So yeah, for about 20 years I've been watching the movie, and I will probably watch it maybe every year, and I read the book every other year probably. But it's like, as I get older, the story means different things to me. When I was a teenager, it really resonated with me of, like, I'm angry, I want to smash things. And, I went out and smashed things, and, like, this was my, like, tough guy Bible. And now that I'm older, you can kind of see, like, it's kind of a cautionary tale of toxic masculinity. And, like, Chuck Palahniuk really ahead of the time there on that one. I think it's a really interesting book. When you look through it with that lens of, like, what it's supposed to be a satire about masculinity can get, and it can get pretty bad. But yeah, and then the other one, Slaughterhouse 5. If you haven't not read it, but I don't know if I want to tell you anything about it, except read it. It's a book about a guy. Does that help you? It's the worst description ever. Cause like one of the big plot points of the book, I don't know if that's supposed to be like a plot surprise. I haven't read it. I read it last year, but I can't remember how that's revealed. Yeah, but it's pretty quick. But I'm not gonna tell you about it. All I'm gonna tell you is that this book is, it's a classic. If you read one fiction book, this would be my pick for almost anybody to start with. It's a great book. And so yeah, this video got a lot longer, and I could probably talk about more books that are on my Kindle or on my Audible. I probably have another 100 books on my phone, and then my bookcase. I don't know if you can kind of see it's out of focus. There's just books, and a lot of them are like cinematography books that it would probably be of limited interest to the general public out in you folks. But if you want to hear me nerd out about cinematography stuff, I'm here for it, and I will talk about nerdy cinematography stuff all day long. So, and if you want to hear me talk about more fiction books that I've read, I could probably dig some of those out of my Audible. But I don't really read a lot of fiction. It's mostly creativity, self-help, self-development books, and cinematography stuff. That educational, aspirational, inspirational. It's kind of where the rubber hits the road for me. So, anyway, to bring this all to a head, more people need to read more books. I sign off on all of these books that I've talked about today. Get an Audible subscription if you don't read. It's great. I love Audible. I think you can get a free book if you sign up. I don't have a referral code or anything. Like, just go. I know a lot of you don't like Amazon, but like, Audible's great. Like, that's helped me read so many books the last couple years. So, yeah, get off the internet. Stop picking fights. Go make something or go read a book. There. That's my statement. That's my plot for today. Here's your video. Thank you for the idea. If you folks have any other ideas, things you want to see me tackle, or have any weird questions for me, drop them down below. I'll make a video about it, because I've got some time. And I'm trying to make more of these videos. So, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, gently caress that thumbs up button. Please subscribe if you haven't. Just leave a random comment down below. All those things help other people find this video, help people find my videos, and then I can, get that external validation I so desperately crave. So, that's it. Thank you for watching if you've made it this far.